What's going on, guys? I forgot my hat. But my name is Matthew Talks a Lot Freeman, and I like to post videos and post them on the internet. Or record videos and post them on the internet. Oh, well. Said it all the same. So, I got, as you can see, it is. I always point to the wrong one. It's 4:48 in the morning. Um, and I have to do some stuff for work still, so I can definitely not make this video be very long, but um, so I two things I'm practically going to talk about, which is number one, to do with posting videos, and two has something to do with a lawyer. Okay, so now one. Apparently, I did miss a day, and I find this very confusing because I posted yesterday's video, and in yesterday's video, I was like calculating in my head, and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm still good. But practically, what happened was I worked Wednesday night. I'm not used to working Wednesdays, and I had Thursday off. So I worked all night Wednesday, and then I got home. It was like 8 o'clock in the morning, and I stayed up another. I don't even know. I stayed up to 1. So I didn't really stay up for a lot more hours before, going back to bed or going to bed. So I guess I should have recorded the video in that chunk, but what happened was I went to bed at 1 o'clock and I expected to get up at right like 8 or 9 or something like that. But inevitably, what happened was I slept for 14 hours and I woke up at 4 in the morning. So like all in all, obviously I slept a lot. And when I woke up at 4 in the morning, my brain was like, oh well, I just got to record a video sometime and I'll be good. But unfortunately, like I said, now I'm realizing that I missed one is because when you clearly look at YouTube, it says I posted on the first, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and the seventh. So obviously I missed the sixth. So I'm gonna let it slide for myself only because obviously due to my sleep I had no way of doing it. It wasn't like I was awake and I just forgot to do it or like I chose not to do it. It was physically the fact that I was sleeping for 14 hours that caused me not to be able to get a video up in time. So I'm gonna let this one slide. Um, but yeah, so obviously I realized that yesterday after I posted yesterday's video and it went up and I realized, oh wait, it's up on the 7th and the last day I had before this was the 5th, so like I am missing the 6th. Um, but then on top of that, now onto the lawyers. So I've talked about this before in the past. Actually, I'm pretty sure the videos and the off chance that I might even be able to find it. If I can find it at the end of this video, I'm going to like tag that video in the like little card thing you can click on at the end of the video. Um, but it was in the off chance you want to hear the more elaborate story of to what happened. But um, I've been paying lawyers a bunch of money for the last 5 years, I think. Maybe it's been 6. No, I think it's only been 4 or 5. Anyways, for a small chunk of time, even though it sounds like a long time, but really it's a small chunk in comparison to my life. But in a small chunk of time, I've been having to pay for money that practically I stole. Um, and so I had to pay all the money back that I owed. I had to pay interest on it, like because obviously people are going to expect to get more than what they give you when you pay them back like 5 years later. Um, but so I had to pay what I had plus interest plus court fees plus lawyer fees plus all kinds of extra stuff. It practically ended up being let's see here. I think when it was all said and done, before we included the lawyer costs and the court costs, it came to like $2,700 that I owed. Um, and then with the two of those combined, it came out to being like 35 or so, which is a lot of money, especially in my life. Um, and you know, I've been set up now for these many years now on like a payment plan, in the sense of like every month, I pay them X amount of money, um, until it's paid off. And it's been, a real long time, and unfortunately, like my credit was affected due to this whole situation. Um, and, that debt that I owed them, even though, it wasn't a credit card per se, that debt still showed up on my credit report. So, it showed that I was like $5,000 in debt, with one credit card, and so like my my information was all wacky, in the sense of it gave me a really bad score really fast, because it was obviously I owed a lot of money. Um, and so yeah, so for the last, every month for the last 5 or so years, I've been taking a very large chunk of money and giving it to, these lawyers, and to pay off my debt for everything, for their work, on top of, everything I have to pay for the court system. And um, so one of the deals, or one of, I said deals, but one of the ideas I guess I had, for a long time now, is I'm trying to, move the fuck out of my house and get my own place. But the problem is, besides not ever having enough money, credit scores are not great, and I don't have credit history, besides the fact of that, like, I've owned a credit card for a few, or for like 6 to 7 years, and I've, you know, that's practically it. I've never had a car payment. I've never made, never rented a house. I've never taken a car loan. I've never done anything to really prove my credit ability. So, naturally, the ability to get a loan when you have low credit and or not good credit history, or not credit history to begin with, um, they don't, people are less likely to give you something like a loan or something. And obviously, a lot, I'm sure that maybe some privately rented places might be different, but for the most part, if it's in the city and it's of a rental company, they are going to check your credit score. And so I just really wanted to be able to make sure that I could get a higher credit score up before I actually attempted to run around and try to like find somewhere to live. And obviously paying that off is like a huge deal of that, because it's like, that and my other credit card. If I get both of those paid off, so point I have zero debt, my credit score should start rising up pretty quickly. And cool enough, even though it seems almost unbelievable, um, they take my money on the 25th is of every month, is what it does. And this month I only owe them $27, and then I'm done. I don't owe them any more money. That's paying the lawyers off, paying the court fines off, paying the money that I owed anyways off. I mean, literally, there ain't a single thing I ain't paid for. $27 on the 25th of this month, and I am a free man. No more taking my money. And as much as it seems like, whoa, it's gonna be so cool, you're gonna have so much extra money now. No, because Matt's used his brain, or he's trying to use his brain in a smarter way than he is normally in life. So the idea is, if I'm taking, say, a chunk of money and I'm paying it toward, you know, paying off the lawyers and everything, I'm used to having to have that chunk of money, that amount of money, paid up by the 25th, right? So that means even if I don't have enough in the first paycheck, they gotta wait until the second paycheck to save up more to add in, whatever. Either way, by the 25th of the month, I have to have X amount of money in the bank so that the lawyer people can take it, right? Well, then this month on the 25th, when they go to take the money, they're going to take $27 and they're going to leave everything else they normally would have taken. Then from that day forward, all the extra money, so technically it would be, you know, whatever's left of the money I would technically owe them minus $27, take that chunk, and then the chunk of money that I would just take every 25th I would pay for, I'm just going to dump that into my other credit card, because in reality, if I were to expressly tell you how much credit card debt I would have, a lot of you would laugh, because some of you are probably sitting around $20,000 to $30,000 worth of debt and thinking that's pretty normal for America. And then you look at my debt and you realize that I have like none. Like I have zero, almost. That credit card I just paid off was like the biggest amount of debt I've ever had, and the other one I have left is less than $1,000 that I owe. So it's really not a ton of debt. But again, when you're trying to build your credit, it isn't helpful to have $700 in credit card charges that you haven't paid for. You know, I'm doing like the payment thing, you know, so I'm paying it slower than if, you know, I would have just had the money up front and paid for it. So what I'm going to just do in the long run is, instead of now paying for the credit card or instead of paying through for the lawyers, I'm using the lawyer money to start dropping into my credit card, because once I start taking those big chunks and dumping into my credit card, it's only going to be maybe like 2 or 3 like months, and then that credit card's going to be gone. So, well, not gone, I'll still have it, but it will be back to the point where I'll have the full amount and I'll have no money charged to it. And that is where we need to be, because again, that will help me build my credit and in the way that I need it to be built, hopefully. So that's where we're at in life. We are paying off stuff, and we're moving on down the line. I won't deny though, what's also nice is I still haven't, the paychecks haven't rotated, obviously, to the point where I've gotten the days that I just recently worked. But this paycheck that I just received tonight had Christmas on it, and I worked both Christmas Eve and Christmas, and both of those days were double time, and both of those days, like I said, I worked, so there was like 16 hours. I got 16 hours of double time, and practically in like 16 hours almost made like half or 3/4. I practically made 3/4 of my paycheck in 18 hours or in 16 hours, getting double pay than I did the entire week of working. So got a nice big paycheck. Still not as big as a full time, but it was like 68 hours for 2 weeks, which, like I said, I only normally work 3 days a week, so 68 is actually a lot more than normal, and it shows payment wise. And then next week, the next paycheck I get will have New Year's on it, and then the 2 days extra that I worked. So next paycheck should also be a little bit bigger of a paycheck. So even more money to just give away. Alright guys, I can't make this video much longer because I got to go and fill out some work stuff. And that has to be done by 5:30 so that I could walk on down to the pool and go unlock that son of a bitch, unlock the arcade room, and unlock the fitness room. And then I gotta come back and start making coffee. Then I gotta come back and do the housekeeping. And then I gotta go back to the kitchen and make another pot of coffee. And then I gotta start setting up the breakfast. And then I gotta really set up the breakfast. And then by 6:30 the breakfast gotta be set up. And then by 7 I go home. So on top of that, I'm stopping on my way home to go buy Ann's Pastries donuts from Wadsworth. It's so fucking good. They've been here my entire life, and I love them. And every once in a while, I just randomly think, like, man, I haven't had Ann's Donuts in a while. So now, as soon as I get off work in a few hours here, I'm driving straight there. I'm getting me a dozen donuts, even though there's not enough people to eat a dozen donuts, and I will eat 8 of them. I will. There will be 4 of them that will be given away, and 8 of them will be eaten by this guy. Am I sad or feel wrong by this? No, because I won't fucking pay for them. So if I want to eat 8 donuts, I'm going to eat 8 donuts, and you ain't going to judge me. Or maybe you will, and I'll just deal with it. But hopefully you guys like this video. If you did, a like would be much appreciated. If you're new to the channel, you should consider subscribing and keep up with cool, awesome content like, you know. Oh yeah, by the way, if you want to subscribe, you can click over here by the time. Right over here. Right there. You see where my finger's at? It's probably covered up by the subscribe button. You just click over here on this here button and you can subscribe. You can click over here. You can watch a cool, awesome video that I recorded. And if you click down here, you can see the cool, awesome 6 video playlist from 2022, even though it's supposed to be on 7. But we're just going to pretend it's supposed to be 6. Alright, I'll see you later. Bye.